Space Ghost Daily on location at the lock gates at Canaveral Lock. You are looking east towards the ocean. As you can see there, those are the big cruise terminals. That's the Disney cruise terminal over there. Looking towards the south, that's how you enter. And the good news is you can come out to these lock gates now. The lock gates are open. You can come out and watch the vessels go in and out through the lock system here at Port Canaveral. Looks like the work is done, and we are here to talk today about cleaning up this lagoon. And we are here with Port Canaveral Commission candidate McLouth, who's asked us to come out here today. He's got some exciting news. His plan to help clean up the lagoon from the port. Mac, thanks for inviting us today.
Well, thank you. I'm really pleased. I've done a little more engineering work on the plan I've got here, and I'd like to show the people what we're really talking about. We're really talking about moving here's on the east end of the port right here, and this would be where the water would come through the port and out through right and bypass the locks. We're standing right here right now, and so my plan is, of course, to use this existing port throughway and then build a facility down here. And this would be a facility I've been doing a little more work on, and this is the Asset Lagoon area right here, which was created by the port when it was first built in the early 50s.
All right, Mac, let me just stop you right there. I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. So here's an overview aerial photograph of Port Canaveral. There is Jetty Park, which is the one project you just helped fix there. The county, of course, is agreeing to sell that 10 acres to keep Jetty Park. Congratulations on that, Mac. It was a big one for Brevard. And here's the ocean inlet here. You can see the North Turning Basin. And this is the flow that Mac is suggesting going west.
Exactly. And it'll bypass the locks, which we can't open to relieve the brown tide and dilute the brown tide in the Indian River and the Banana Rivers.
Now, Mac, tell us again, okay, how your plan will work and why you're doing this.
Well, I'm doing it to try to help clean up the lagoon. It's a big problem. I've been meeting with the environmental groups, and they tell me that this has some real merit. And so what we would do is gradually moving from the east end of the port, up in the jetties. Of course, it's all open straight on through into past these bridges into the Asset Lagoon area here, and what I would excavate it out and build a seawall around there for the small boats. And so it'd be a pretty good size area. There's about 35-40 acres of land, and then build a special weir. The weir would be actuated by the tide itself. So twice a day, 365 days a year, you would be pumping fresh seawater into the river to help dilute, and I believe it will help reduce the brown tide, at least certainly in this area.
So Mac, that's really exciting news. So this would be a fantastic way, using nature, the movement of the tides and so on. Can you explain actually how much water we're talking about being able to pump into the lagoon and how that would help the lagoon clean up?
Well, this is a very interesting point. Obviously the water will come in from the east, in through the port itself, along this route to go, and then Asset Lagoon will be opened up in an area that's shown in this area. Would open it up and dig out this area here and put a seawall up here and around here, and this would be a boat area. But the volume of water that we actually can do this on 365 days a year on 2 high tides is a very substantial amount, and it will be significant enough, I believe, to cause a flow to the south in the Indian and Banana Rivers, which of course will flush out some of this brown tide. I think it has a great merit because it's a 24/7 occurrence, every day, and so do that 365 days, and you got a lot of water going through here.
That's exactly what I want to hear. I live on Sykes Creek. I look at that brown lagoon every day out of my window here, and it's pretty depressing. Brown, nasty lagoon. I hear people selling their houses. It's a major problem. But up in this area, what you're saying is this would be a natural way, using the tide, to pump that water into the lagoon and make a difference.
That's the way to go, and I think that in doing so, it will solve some big problems that we have in the lagoon. So I'm excited about this, and if elected, I'm going to really pursue this. I think that it's an area that the port hasn't been moving in as far as solving the problem, but this is a solution, I think, that has great merit, and it also relieves the area of the problem that the port has about where do you put all the small boats, the tugs and the smaller boats, to get them off the deep draft area, right? Like over here where they're putting a new terminal, cruise terminal or cargo terminal 8 for SpaceX. I mean, they got to get those tugs off of there somehow.
Let me just clarify this, folks. I just want to make sure I understand it and all our viewers can understand it. I'm standing here on the lock gates at Canaveral Lock. You can see that's west, looking west there to the barge canal. And if you come in the port area, you turn off into the port, you come down Dave Nisbet Drive, and you turn left onto Mullet Drive. You follow that road all the way around Avocet Lagoon, which is that sort of wooded area, as you can see there. There's 528. And you follow that road all the way down to the dead end, and you see some chain link fencing. That's where you walk in to the lock gates, which are now open. So just to give you your bearings, that's Avocet Lagoon there, and looking east towards the ocean through the channel. So Mac McLouth has sort of drawn up this plan. Mac, I really want to thank you for doing this as a homeowner here in Brevard. This is exciting news that we can use actually the tide system to pump water into the lagoon. Why are you doing this, Mac? I know you're retired, and I know you're running, to be the commissioner again at the port. Why are you doing this? It certainly doesn't pay any money.
Well, I've got 50 years experience at the port, and I followed it religiously. I go to all the meetings, even when I retired some 10 years ago, and I really feel obligated to continue to work on it. I've got this information in my head, and I need to get it out, and one way of getting it out is I figured was to run for office, and then I could do a better job.